Hi, my name is Joko McKenna, and I'm an English teacher and IELTS instructor at a school called Edulink in Myanmar. And I'm here today to help out. I do this on a volunteer basis. We're going to look at a student's essay and look at the question of what to do with a situational essay in the general training part of the IELTS test. Situational means that it's asking you, it presents a situation and it asks you to do something with that situation. Okay, it can be very descriptive. However, it does involve some elements of opinion. So this is also valuable for the academic IELTS takers because situational essays in the academic question will always include, as part of it, what are some solutions? You didn't see that. Oh my. Green screen. I don't need it. I'm going to go see what broke. Nothing broke. Okay, I think better sitting down. Anyway, so this essay that we're going to look at comes from Shazam, or Shub. Anyway, I recently did another video. In fact, the one just prior to this, just a week ago, where I presented some. It was an interesting essay because it was very well written, but it was not to IELTS standards. That was the biggest issue. Okay, so our candidate writes us today to tell us that, thank you for the feedback, you're welcome. I've tried to keep them in mind. Okay, so what were the things that she was facing in the first essay? Well, she should know, but to review real quick, like non-academic things that were creeping up. And unclear topic sentences. That was a big thing. I remember that. So structural things about how to set up your IELTS writing that she didn't know yet because she's brand new at this. Okay, let's see if she's addressed. What's the question? Okay, single direct answer questions. So you just have one question and it just asks you what your answer is. That's unique to general training. And here it is. Recently published figures show that wildlife around the world has decreased by around 50% over the last 50 years. What can be done to help protect the wildlife around the world? Now that's what she put, and then I added the next paragraph because that's always in every IELTS writing task too. Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. The highlighting there is mine. Of course, the first thing you want to do is analyze the question and highlight the key words and really think about what they mean and what distinguishes them or identifies them as task words. Okay, here, what can be done? What can be done? Right? Not what must we do or what's the only thing we can do or, so it's not obligated. It's just what can be done. To do what? To fix the problem? No, we're not talking about fixing the problem. It's to help. What can be done to help? Just a little bit. To help protect the wildlife where? Around the world. Okay, so it shouldn't be like a local answer. What do they mean by wildlife? Okay, is that just animals? Generally, it's kind of thought of that way, but no, actually, wildlife would include plants too, fish, and all kinds of things. Well, no, plants and animals, not all kinds of things. Here's the essay as a whole. Let's put that there as a placekeeper, and let's take a look at the introduction. Now, your introduction is there to present the topic, paraphrase the words from the question, and get out. You don't have to answer the question in the introduction. It's usually not advisable. It's not so bad, but it tends to lead to repetition. Well, we'll see. Balanced ecosystem is very important for the future of all organisms on planet Earth. I think in that case, planet Earth needs to be capitalized. Okay, although mankind has made rapid progress in the last few decades. Rapid progress in what? In economics? In what? Okay. Red is for task response. Is this part of the question? That mankind has made rapid... Is that in the question anywhere? Well, there's the question right beneath me. No, it's not. You don't add to the question. The amount, the number, no, not the number. I want something different there. The amount of wildlife. Because that's like, wildlife is not something that, the density, the frequency, the habitat, the populations of wildlife has reduced drastically. Now, I did a whole other video about the difference between reduced and declined. Decline and reduce. Real briefly, reduce is generally transitive. It needs an object. So you reduce something. Things don't just reduce by themselves. That's decrease. So what they wanted there was decreased drastically. In order to fix, are you being asked to fix the issue? No, just help. Okay, two problems come to mind. Okay, you had a problem with academic formatting. And academic formatting does not include things like dashes. No dashes in academic writing, and no contractions. Okay, so that's one of the rules. The expansion of spaces, blank, noun of noun. Most of the time when you see noun of noun, you're going to have a the at the beginning of it. The expansion of spaces where wildlife can thrive, and the preservation of spaces where it is already thriving. Huh? Two broad solutions. Okay, that's, I see. Expansion and preservation. Where it is unclear it, but wait, do we have any paraphrasing? So the wildlife population around the world has decreased. What can be done to help protect? In order to fix, well, yeah, that's definitely not the same. You're not copying. Wildlife, balanced ecosystem, which is an entirely different topic. But no copying from the question. Good. Okay. Body paragraph 1. Present, develop, and support your first idea. Okay, and your first idea, of course, is what can be done to help protect wildlife. Let's see if you've got a nice clear topic sentence to start us off. Since we have too little animals and further reducing number of wild animals, too little and further reducing the number of wild animals, providing them with more spaces to propagate would help. Okay, you kind of set it up in the introduction, so I'd be surprised if you didn't include that. Since is also somewhat informal. Okay? I'll replace it with as. Too little wild animals. We have too little wild animals. Okay, now animals is countable. And that's what little is, so too few. Too many small ones, little animals. And further reducing number. Now that's, once again, that's one of your few grammar errors. Trying to use reduce as an adjective here, and a further, and a, since we have too little and further reducing, the further reducing part is just awkward and grammatically incorrect. Reducing numbers of wild animals and plants, providing them with more space, not spaces, I don't think, to propagate. Good. Would help. Would help what? Help do what? For example. Okay, aha. Now, usually we put the examples at the end of a paragraph, unless we're using the example to explain what we mean. So what I was expecting here next is to see an example of an instance where more spaces have been provided to animals as wildlife preserves, okay, which you'll tell. I'm looking for examples of giving them more space. Okay. All right, for example, all across the world. Good. Comma there. We, don't use we. This is not us and we. We have large areas called wildlife sanctuaries. Why, yes, we do. Everyone knows that. See, here, where a wide variety of animals live amongst each other in peace and harmony. No, okay, live amongst each other in their natural habitats. Sure. Okay, it's you had this issue with the last essay, and I explained it then, is that you're explaining things that don't need to be explained. Everybody knows what wildlife sanctuaries are. So a wildlife sanctuary is not an example of giving more areas to animals. Okay? It's an example of an area that already exists, okay, that we're protecting. The idea that you're saying is we need to set up more of these things, sure. But you can't just like set up a wildlife sanctuary in the middle of a bunch of agricultural land or something like that. It has to be where forests already exist. This is a tough one to come up with an example of because it doesn't happen. We're not providing more wildlife, more habitat to wildlife. We're, as you say later, it's desperately important, more so to keep what we have, or what the animals have. Okay, if there are problems, grammar, good use of a conditional, okay? If there are problems, okay, are there problems? Sure. Okay, so we're first conditional. If there are problems such as, like is a bit too informal, such as poaching. Now, what's poaching? We know what wildlife sanctuaries are, but what's poaching? These can be fixed. We're not being asked to fix. By enhancing security to deter human encroachment. Well, that's what security does. It's not there to keep the animals in. We know that. Okay, it's unnecessary explanation of your solution. Your solution is enhanced security. Well, we know why. I mean, explain how. You might explain how poaching is a problem, or that only in these sanctuaries do we have the resources or the personnel to protect the animals. I don't know, something like that. I would have gone with, when we look at Chernobyl, a region where there was a devastating nuclear accident in the 1980s, wildlife that has not been seen in centuries, has returned and thrived in a place where humans once existed. Funds can be generated from tours of these sanctuaries. Funds generated from tours of these sanctuaries can be utilized for both security and long-term maintenance. Okay, now, red is task response. Is the question, how do we pay for wildlife sanctuaries? That's not the question. The solution, or the thing that you want to present here is that we can create areas and then charge for them. Okay? You need to present the first idea before you can present the second idea. So, in this paragraph, you have not explained or provided examples of giving area back to wildlife. However, creating more safe spaces for wildlife won't do much if we don't preserve existing areas that have healthy and thriving ecosystems already. Okay, it's a bit of a wordy sentence, but what I really like here, and I've underlined, is the way that you have connected the beginning of BP2 with the end of BP1. Okay, you've used the idea. However, creating more spaces won't be enough. That's excellent cohesion. It's a natural connection between the two. However, don't let this nice little trick that you found keep you from supporting your ideas. And you don't really do it in this next paragraph. Won't, don't are contractions. Don't use contractions in academic writing. Will not do much if we, again, avoid the we. This isn't an inspirational essay. Okay, if existing areas, existing safe areas. There's a whole bit about that have healthy and thriving ecosystems already. That's not necessary. Most of this loss of wildlife in the last few decades. What loss of wildlife? What loss of wildlife? Did we even quantify it? Okay, yes, I suppose the wildlife has reduced drastically, but that's so long ago. This seems a bit unclear. Wildlife in the last few decades has been because of rapid, unchecked, and aggressive. What's the difference between unchecked and aggressive? Okay, aggressive. Industrialization. Really? Around the world? No. You don't expect it to be an expert on the causes of wildlife, of habitat encroachment. But it is actually agriculture, or plantations, not industrialization. They ain't putting factories out in the forest. Those are in the cities where people live. Okay, so it's not industrialization. If we have checks in place, okay, here we go. Another conditional. If we, reminds me. I forgot to do this in the last slide. Here, last two sentences. If there are problems with this, these can be fixed. Next one. Funds can be utilized. It's great that you're using a modal passive verb. Okay, can be utilized. That's great. But once you've done it, and you don't. And repeating it doesn't help. In fact, it hurts because you need to show a broad range of grammatical structures. And anytime you repeat the same structure, and here you do it again, okay, if we have checks in place to ensure we will be able to. Well, that's future form, but okay. Has been. You're not asked to, first of all, to describe what the causes are, just what the solutions are. And you do say, well, one solution would be to do what? To have checks in place. What checks? That's the question. What measures? What should we do? Not if they were in place. So it's only barely addressing the question. Okay, and once again, no more we. Indiscriminately, we will be able to halt this unfortunate trend we have been seeing. Unnecessary. We have been seeing. Not needed. Okay, so, but, let's see here. The whole, that's a pretty good paragraph. I mean, there's no grammar mistakes at all. It's just structural. Conclusion. Sort of an introduction of a mirror image of the introduction. In conclusion, with the two-step, I think you need a hyphen there. Two-step approach described above. Well, avoid that. Above. The dwindling population of wild animals and plants can be increased. Once again, only answer the question that's being asked. Are you being asked to, what can we do to increase the animals? No, that's not being asked. Only creating new spaces for them without preserving existing ones might have us end up. End up is a phrasal verb, and it's a bit informal for this context. End up in a situation worse than the one we are in now. Why? Well, this has not been discussed in your essay. I know you're thinking it's like more persuasive this way, but you're not supporting this. Okay? So if we only create new spaces, it'll be a worse situation. How? So how does that happen? What's going on? On the other hand, it might end up in a better situation. Not on the other hand, but similarly, only maintaining existing paces without creating new ones is not enough to match the levels of wildlife that existed half a century ago. The question is not asking us to go back a half a century. We're not trying to return the animals to the way they were. It's not what it's asking. Just to protect them, and just help protect them. Both of these together are necessary for our planet's future. What? Don't get grandiose. Don't overblow it. It's just asking for some simple measures that can be taken that will help. You don't have to solve the world's problems in your task 2 writing. Very common mistake. Like, oh, I'm going to save the world. That's what they want. Or the more I save the world, the better my essay is. No. The more you answer the question, the better your essay is. I put underlines here in several places because this is very good lexical resource. Very good collocation, like dwindling population. Creating good use of, what's it called? An ing, a gerund, a participle clause. That's it. Creating new spaces for them without preserving existing ones. That's a good bit of construction there. Half a century for 50 years. Excellent. Excellent. So, for grammar and lexical resource, if you can, see, that's the thing, is I've been reading up, and your improper tone with words like end up, that's coherence and cohesion, because it's about format and tone. But you need to show the vocabulary that you know what is the everyday word for end up. Okay, it might have us end up in a situation is good collocation, but might have us might result in, get rid of us, might result in a worse situation. Okay, now it doesn't mean you should avoid interesting grammar. Okay. Your grammar, both lexical and grammar, could be 8s or 9s, but your coherent, your task response is very flawed, and that's very normal. You really have to drill down and understand and keep in mind what every word in the question means, what the difference is between can help and save the world. Okay. I had a video here, but sorry, I can't do anything with this thing like you would PowerPoint. This is not PowerPoint, it's Zoom. I'll put it in the comments. Last tips. Good job addressing the big issues in your last essay. Okay? So what I mean there is topic sentences. Your paragraphs had clear topic sentences and were focused. But academic writing rules still apply, even though it's general training. You're explaining what doesn't need explaining and not explaining what does. And as I mentioned, avoid repetition of key words, okay, which you're okay at now, and also structures. Commonly we'll see a lot of people who use, subject, to be, object, is and are and was and were a lot, and you're not there. So those are your issues for your next one. Okay, Shazam or Shazar or Fazar. I know there's like a Z or something in there. Good luck. And by the way, if you enjoyed this and you want to get it for yourself, you can pay for it.